So I wanted to go over the 2024 Polaris Ranger Northstar and the 2024 Can-Am Defender Limited. And I know everybody is trying to figure out, which one of these should I buy? And if you don't know my background, just go back and look at all the videos that I've made. Look at the machines we've had. I'm going to give you from a real world perspective of why I would buy one over the other. And I think for them to truly compete against each other, I think that in Polaris's models, you have to go to a Ranger XP1000 Northstar Trail Boss Edition. And the reason I say that is because the Trail Boss Edition is the only Ranger that comes with arched A-arms. And what that is, we'll look at that. And I'm going to compare six-seater models today, but it's the same way with the six-seaters, it's the same way with the three-seaters, and across the board. So if we look at the six-seater here, this is going to come with Ride Command. Now, Can-Am does not have anything to compete with Ride Command, but if we take that out of the picture, and that's not something you have to have, if Ride Command is something that you have to have as a person, and what Ride Command is, it's a 7-inch display in your dash that acts as your radio, your GPS. It's a really cool feature to have. I like it, and it's a nice accommodation to the vehicle. You get a front and rear camera, but I'm going to give you another option on the Defender, and I'll show you on my channel how to put it in. But if we're looking at this today, this comes with 29-inch tires. It comes with arched A-arms, which is the high clearance arched A-arms. You get 14 inches of ground clearance. Active descent control, and self-leveling suspension. And if you want to see what this looks like, go to the comparison of the Trail Boss Edition versus my Expedition. Now, I have not had a Trail Boss Edition, but as far as from a ride standpoint and a trail standpoint, it's not really going to change as far as when you're feeling terrain in the cab from this model to a regular Ranger, which has flat A-arms that just go straight out. With all that being said, this and the Defender are 82 horsepower. Both of them are 82 horsepower. I think that the Defender has a little bit more torque, but we're going to go over and look at that. So you can look at the price here for a six-seater in this edition. You're looking at $37,899. You cannot get the Trail Boss without the Ride Command. That is part of that package. So that is included in the package. But let's just say that even if you took Ride Command out of the picture, that's roughly a $2,000 upgrade on these machines. So even at $35,899, you're looking at almost $36,000 if you just took Ride Command out of the picture, because the Defender Limiteds do not come with the audio system in them from the factory unless you get the Lone Star Edition. So let's go over and let's look at the Can-Am Defender. So the 2024, if we go down here and we go to, now they have the Defender Limited Lone Star Max Cab. I would not recommend buying this because the Lone Star system that's in there, the JL audio system, I can show you how to get that same system in your Defender for way, way cheaper and sound just as good. I've had this model. Go back and look at my channel. I'll show you on there why I wouldn't buy this. The sound system is not that great, and it's a huge price jump over the normal one. So what I would recommend to look at is the Defender Max Limited. And if we click that, I love this charcoal gray, but it starts at $32,999. So you have a huge price difference on this machine versus the Polaris Ranger. The only two advantages you're going to get on the Polaris Ranger is ride command and LED headlights. So what I would do is I would buy the Can-Am Defender over the Polaris Ranger. And the reason I say that is because you get forward arched A-arms from the factory. You get 30-inch tires, so you get bigger tires that are better. They're moved forward, so you can take up to 32-inch tires on the Can-Am Defender Limited from the factory without any work, anything done to it. You cannot go over a 30-inch tire on the Polaris Ranger from the factory. It will not take them. It'll rub with 32s on there. As far as the cab and inside the cab is a whole lot bigger on this Can-Am Defender than it is on the Polaris Ranger. The seats are way better. Both of them have the same 4,500 pound winch on them. The Polaris comes with a synthetic rope and a remote control, but you can put a remote control winch on these for about 20 bucks. I will put a link for that in the bio, and I also have a video on here how to install it. And you can add LED headlights to this for about $70 in all four headlights. So there's not really anything on the Polaris Ranger that is better than the Can-Am Defender. Your visibility is also much better out of the Can-Am Defender. When you're in there and you're riding around, this cab visibility is so great. It's the best visibility cab I've ever been in my life. And with the money up front that you're saving, so if you look at those two prices in the difference, yes, in the Polaris Ranger Trail Boss, you're getting a stereo system, but it's just two speakers. I will put a link in the bio of this, how to install a stereo system in your Can-Am Defender, and show you how to go through the whole thing. It's super simple. It comes with the header panel in the top, and you can literally put a sound system in these that's better than the Polaris Ranger for about 300 bucks. So with all that in mind, when you're looking at these, you're going to get a much better trail machine. And I've had both the Polaris Ranger, a 2022 brand new one, and I've had multiple units of these Defenders. The Defender rides better, and the cab seats are so much better when you're riding in them all day. They're bolstered better. They just feel better. And also, the Defender cab is a lot quieter than the Polaris Ranger. And the reason that is because this is the only cab in the industry that does not have a hole in it. And then what I mean is, if you look in the back seat of the Polaris Ranger and you flip the back seat up, let's see if I can get a picture of the back seat. Let's see if they've got anything on here to show inside the cab. They probably do not, but in the back seat of the Ranger, it has a hole and under the back seat so that you can change the oil in it. And it lets a whole lot of noise in the cab. So if you're looking at those two and you want the quietest cab on the market, the Can-Am Defender Limited is that by probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 decibels. And that's huge to a lot of farmers, a lot of other people. Another thing, I have raced multiple units of the Polaris Ranger and the Can-Am Defender. And the Can-Am Defender is faster by a few feet in everything I've raced. And I've raced 2-seaters, 4-seaters, different models with different tires and such. The Defender just has a better takeoff, and it's really strong off the line. Now, neither one of these are rocket ships, but if we're looking at this over, a pricing thing, this is so cheap, and you can buy this and spend $1,000 on it, and it's such a put a stereo and stuff in it. And then also on 2024, the huge thing, the only thing that kept me from truly saying, hey, I would buy this over the Polaris Ranger, was because before this didn't have smart lock, and now the 2024s have smart lock in them, so it has a true locker in the front end. So there's no advantage of buying the Polaris Ranger in comparison to this. And a lot of people were hung up on that because this used to have Visco lock that would not lock up. So when you'd get Visco lock, this tire, when it got pressure, it would make this tire pull and it would be in the air not doing anything. Well, it's no longer like that. So if we're looking at this over total and we're looking at the differences of them, with this here, you're getting the ability to run bigger tires. It comes with bigger tires from the factory. It comes with 30s instead of 29s. You're getting better seating, a bigger cab. You've got forward arched A-arms. It's just a much nicer unit, especially when you're looking at the price tag. Now, you can, if you have to have a backup camera or a forward camera, you can buy a Boss audio system, and in the video where I show you how to install those, I installed one. And then there's 2 models. You can look on my Instagram and see both of them, and that will show you. But anyway, if I was buying one of these today, I would go and buy a 2024 Can-Am Defender Limited, because there's really no advantage that you're going to get, especially when looking at the price in comparison to the Can-Am Defender compared to the Polaris Ranger. And even if, let's just say that you wanted to buy the Lone Star Edition, and this comes with the stereo in the roof, a JL audio system, everything's the same. It comes with black outside and the cattle tan leather inside, but it also comes with the JL audio roof, which, let's see if I can find a picture down here of it. For some reason it doesn't show it in there. I don't see pictures of it, but it's 6 speakers in the roof, and let's say you wanted to buy the one with the roof, you're still less money in this than you are if you buy the Trail Boss Edition, which is $37,899. So you've got roughly a $2,000 price difference from these 2 models, and the only thing that you're getting that is better or cooler, I guess you would say, is the ride command. So from a trails perspective, you're going to have a lot better machine with this here. And even normal, most people are buying these, cruising around and stuff. They're taking their family, they're loading up. It's not like you're racing this machine. You're just cruising around having a good time. If you're going on an 8-hour ride, you're going to be so much happier with this than you are the Polaris Ranger Northstar. Keep those in mind. Thank you for watching.